Be at Mertech.com with your daily news update. All right, here we are on July 4th in the year of our Lord 2026. I apologize for being an hour late on my 8 o'clock podcast, but had some fireworks I had to take the kids to. Let them enjoy that. But we do have some great information for you tonight. So if you hung in there, I greatly appreciate that. Let's jump over here to Mertech on Rumble. This is my Rumble channel. This is the video we're talking about tonight. As you can see, I tried to leave you a message here, save time. Will be 11 p.m. Our start time will be 11 p.m. due to fireworks. Okay, episode 1968. Let's go ahead and jump into this. All righty. Debbie BS is joining. Okay, let me close that out and slide down here and click the Show More button to expand out the description box. We have information from Black Conservative Perspective, Dr. Steve Turley, LFA TV, and On the Fringe. But before we get into that, I do have some shout outs to give. From AG57 just started following my channel. Van Mom of 6, the Mom of 6 just started following my channel. Lizzie B. Wild 61 just started following my channel. Asher 327 just started following my channel. Stephen G just started following my channel. Guam Thinger just started following my channel. Johnny Ray Murphy just started following my channel. Brian Littlejohn just started following my channel. Pav JJJ58 just started following my channel. Manco123 just started following my channel. Blue Skies 876 just started following my channel. And Katie Rose 13 just started following my channel. So thank you very much, folks, for following my channel. I greatly appreciate that. I hope you're tuned in and I hope you enjoy the content. All right, Debbie BS reposted my episode 1967. And Spartan Dukar commented on my daily news wrap-up. Katie Rose commented on my episode 1916. Okay, she saw that one from way back and decided to follow me, huh? Thank you very much, Katie Rose. Okay, Susie Poll 2016 and Debbie BS commented on my episode 1967. Jams commented on my Extra 742B. Okay, that was like 8 days ago that I posted that. Debbie BS commented on my Extra 750A and 750B, and Jams commented on my episode 750B. Debbie BS and Josh 2112 commented on my Extra 750C. So thank you very much for reposting my videos, and thank you for your comments. I enjoy reading your feedback, and I definitely appreciate your support. So let's go ahead and give this a thumbs up. Okay, let's get into this. Black Conservative Perspective. Woke California HOA folds on American flag ban after neighbors revolt and refuse to pay fines. Okay, well, let's check it out and see what that's all about.
The Stars and Stripes wave peacefully outside this San Marcos home. But now, just days before America's 250th birthday, Amy and Chris Cook are being asked by the Ambience Owners Association to take their flag from their garage door frame down.
Having to defend our freedom, to display the symbol of freedom, is something I never thought I'd experience in America.
The red, white, and blue is something the couple displays to honor Chris's grandfather, who died in World War II.
He was awarded the Navy Cross and also the Purple Heart.
The issue comes down to where the flag is installed. The HOA contends this flag is installed on common area property, but the homeowners, now facing a $100 fine, disagree.
Ours is placed on the fascia.
Around the corner, Terry Collins has also been told told to take down her flag.
We've lived here 35 years. It's been here 35 years.
Collins believes she has the law on her side. The 2005 Freedom to Display the American Flag Act states in part that a condominium association may not adopt or enforce any policy that would restrict or prevent a member from displaying the U.S. flag on residential property within the association with respect to which such member has a separate ownership interest or a right to exclusive possession or use. Free speech attorney David Loy says California law allows HOAs to put some limits on the size and location of flags, but
the general rule is that HOAs, even if they're still private entities and not subject to the First Amendment, they still don't have a blank check to say no signs, no flags whatsoever on your own private property.
I understand some of your neighbors have taken down their flags in recent days, but you're leaving yours up. Tell us why.
Because I'm not going to be bullied by them.
the residents will make their case to the HOA board at a hearing Tuesday. No one from the Owners Association returned requests for comment. Austin Grabish, ABC 10 News.
So we got to talk about a heartwarming story out of California, because commies are doing commie things, like, for example, trying to ban patriots from being able to fly the American flag outside of their home in their neighborhood. Okay, you have a woke HOA who is trying to enforce a flag ban, and the neighbors are refusing to pay the fines, right? And I love stories like this, because coming up on the 250th birthday of this great country, the greatest country ever, right? The greatest civilization ever built. Yeah, I think that people should proudly display their patriotism, and we should not be stopped from doing so by these communist lunatics. So without further ado, let's get into this story, because this stuff is happening all over the country. Liberals, for whatever reason, believe that the American flag is a political statement, and that's basically the reasoning behind this HOA attempting to ban their neighborhood from flying the American flag. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Just days before Independence Day, some Southern California residents are caught up in a fight with their homeowners association. They say their HOA is telling them to take down their American flags or face fines. Correspondent Nancy Liu joins us live. So Nancy, you had a chance to speak to some of these homeowners.
I did, Nicole, and this holiday week is when a lot of Americans proudly display the stars and stripes, in this case, America 250 as well. But residents of one Southern California neighborhood say their patriotism and freedoms are under attack. Terry Collins and her husband have lived in the Ambiance townhouse complex in San Marcos since it opened in 1991. Their children grew up in the neighborhood, and they have proudly displayed an American flag on the front of their home for nearly 35 years. A flag fight surfaced 2 years ago when another resident started flying a Padres flag. Well, the HOA eventually moved to ban all flags, even Old Glory. In a previous letter, residents were told once the members allow use of a common property by an owner to express what is essentially a political or affiliative view in a flag, other owners will want to do the same, and the common area will degrade.
Yeah. So I disagree with this heavily. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, it's your home, it's your house. And if you want to fly a flag on your property, I'm not entirely sure what the problem is, especially if it's the American flag. Okay. The American flag is not political. It's not a political statement. Unlike the LGBTQ flag, unlike the Black Lives Matter flag and all these other woke flags. Yeah, I mean, it's not political to fly the American flag. This is why I kind of hate HOAs, to be honest with you, right? Townhomes, those type of neighborhoods. Like, the advantage is that you really don't have to do much in regards to upkeep, right? Like, you're kind of paying for upkeep. You know, likely it's going to be a gated community, right? There are some pros, but the cons are that you don't really get much freedom, right? You are subject to stuff like this, really stupid rules, random fines, and stuff like that I think is just very annoying. So, this is just another example of why I think that these types of communities are, not very desirable for people to live in who actually value freedom. Now, if you're one of these people who, again, you don't want to really, upkeep around your property, right? You don't want to cut grass, you don't want to, do much, is great, right? But if you're somebody that, wants to actually, I don't know, do some things with your house, right? Like have some freedom to customize your home and to do upgrades and stuff like that, then you're not gonna like it. But I'm not entirely sure why flying a flag outside a home is prohibited, right? Like, to me, even if it's the LGBTQ flag or whatever, it's like, I'm not gonna complain about that. It's your house, right? It's your house. At the end of the day, you paid for it. You should be able to fly whatever you want. Again, as long as it's not in anybody else's space or area in the neighborhood, it's fine, right? I don't consider the front porch to be a common area, right? Like, or wherever somebody's flying a flag, as long as it's on their property, right? It is not in, again, a common area. It should be fine. But again, I think a lot of this really is just liberals not liking the fact that people want to fly the American flag, right? So they're trying to ban everything and claim that the American flag is political. It's not. The American flag is never political. It's not a political statement. It is simply a symbol of patriotism, love for this country. And again, there's nothing political about that. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is just ridiculous.
Despite a threat of bi-monthly $100 fines, the Collins family has refused to remove their flag, and they have no intention of paying any fines.
You need to stand up for what you believe in, especially the American flag. That is our badge of honor. If we can't serve in the military, we can at least wave a flag outside of our home to show how prideful and how happy we are to live in the United States.
I think it's interesting that it has culminated to this point as we approach Independence Day and the 250th birthday of America. I do have, I think this is why this is gaining steam, and it should. Our flag is a symbol of our freedom.
Neighbors Chris and Amy Cook, they're also defying the ban, especially since this complex is near the Miramar Naval Base and Camp Pendleton. Both families met with the HOA last night, and they were told the panel would table this dispute for 60 days. Now, News Nation, we reached out to the Ambiance HOA for comment, but so far, no response. Nicole?
All right, so Nancy, isn't displaying the flag covered by federal law? How can a homeowners association do something like this?
Well, the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005, it does protect a person's right to fly the flag on their property. HOAs cannot ban the U.S. flag outright, but they can enforce particular requirements. And, there are HOA flag fights all over America right now. In North Carolina, an HOA has served notice to a police veteran over his display of the thin blue line flag, which also honors fallen officers. In South Carolina, a Myrtle Beach homeowner is battling his HOA over the additional flags he's put up inside his screened porch. He argues the flag should be exempt since they're hung from inside. And in multiple communities all over the place, including this one in Austin, Texas, there are ongoing disputes over the display of pride flags. But in many instances, the U.S. flag, the symbol of our country, that is an exception.
Wow.
Nicole?
All right, Nancy Lou, thank you.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. I believe that this HOA folded, right? They folded. They said, hey, we're going to table this issue for 60 days. AKA, we're going to back down, right? That's what they're doing. They're backing down, right? Because honestly, at the end of the day, like, what are they going to do? As News Nation outlined, they can't just outright ban people from being able to display the American flag. It's kind of like a protected right, right? And they can't take away that. Now, again, they could, impose certain requirements and stuff like that, but let's be real. I don't think there's really that much they can do. They were overstepping. I think they know that they were overstepping. And again, this is why they're backing down. But then again, this is California. And in California, stories like this are very prevalent, right? I think that they were triggered. And that's what happened, right? They were triggered by the American flag. I mean, we know that these people are not proud to be American, so they don't want people showing their pride in this country. So I think that's basically what's going on here. It's just another example of why HOAs are ridiculous and why, if you really want real freedom, right, you should try to avoid them. But, you know, hey, they come with pros, they come with cons. This is just a major con of having an HOA that seems to be a little bit power hungry, right? And again, very, very, very liberal, but not in the actual definition of liberal, but like authoritarian leftist, okay, which is what a vast majority of these people are nowadays. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
All right, there you have it, folks. Let me click on the Rumble link, and I have to agree with you. I mean, it's not really political. The flag doesn't represent one political party or the other. Okay, it represents the nation as a whole. Both Democrat, Republican, independents, liberals, conservatives, what have you. Okay, so jumping over here, clicking the Rumble link. This video is from Black Conservative Perspective. This is the video I shared with you. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Alrighty, let's jump back here and slide down here. Nobody else has joined us in the chat, but let's move on here. Dr. Steve Turley, Silicon Valley's biggest lie about technology just got exposed. Okay, well, let's see what that's all about.
Cultural and national renewal, and it's renewal that has a lot to teach us when it comes to the world that's rising all around us. There's a story that Silicon Valley's been telling for about 30 years or so, and it goes something like this. Technology is the new secular religion. The smartphone is the new altar. The algorithm is the new priest. The data center is the new cathedral. And as people become more connected, more digitally integrated, more reliant on their devices, then they're going to naturally drift away from ancient faiths and toward a new secular spirituality of human progress and technological transcendence. It's a compelling story. It's told by intelligent people, and it would be very persuasive if it weren't for the fact that it's almost entirely wrong in every single way. Not because technology isn't powerful or pervasive. It's more prevalent in our society than ever. The problem is that Silicon Valley, that story, gets the relationship between technology and religion exactly backwards. Simply put, technology is not replacing religion. Quite the opposite. Around the world in the civilizations that matter most in the 21st century, technology is actually serving religion. It's being consciously shaped, directed, and deployed as an expression of theological belief. And if you miss that, if you keep assuming that tech and theology are on a collision course where tech inevitably wins, you're going to fundamentally misunderstand the most powerful dynamics of our era. Let me give you the clearest example first, and then we'll get deeper. When the Iranian government built its national intranet, a filtered, surveilled, domestically controlled version of the internet, Western analysts called it censorship. And yes, technically, of course, it was. But that framing entirely missed the point. The Iranian theocracy was not simply trying to prevent its citizens from seeing inconvenient news. It was trying to build a digital infrastructure that expressed Shia Islamic values. It was constructing a cyberspace shaped by a theological vision of what information should flow, what ideas should propagate, and what kind of human being should emerge from the experience of being connected. That's not censorship in the Western liberal sense. That's theotechnology, technology built to serve theological ends. And Iran is not alone. China's digital infrastructure is built to serve the political theology of civilizational supremacy and Confucian social harmony. Russia's digital strategy is inseparable from its orthodox civilizational product. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 is deploying AI and smart city technology explicitly in the service of a reform but still deeply Islamic social vision. Even in the West, though few want to say it plainly, the platforms that dominate digital life reflect specific theological assumptions about the nature of the human person, the meaning of freedom, and the purpose of community. There is no theologically neutral technology. No, there never was. Take, for example, the specific case of AI, right? Artificial intelligence, because This is where the stakes are highest and the illusion of neutrality is most dangerous. The dominant assumption in Western tech culture is that AI is a tool, a powerful tool for sure, but even a potentially dangerous tool, but ultimately a neutral instrument that can be pointed in any direction and will produce objective outputs regardless of who's doing the inputting. That assumption is collapsing in real time. AI systems are trained on data that reflects the values of the civilization that produced the data. They're shaped by the choices of engineers who've been formed by specific cultural and theological traditions, even if those traditions are the secular liberalism that doesn't recognize itself as a theological tradition. The guardrails, the content policies, the safety filters, the alignment objectives, all of these are expressions of a moral vision. And that moral vision is not universal, it's civilizational. That's why the AI international competition is being called a new arms race. The civilization that dominates AI will dominate the world. Now, this means that the AI race is not merely a technological competition, it's a civilizational one. The question of which civilization's AI becomes dominant is the question of which civilization's theology, which set of assumptions about the good, the true, and the human gets encoded into the digital substrate of the future. That's theopolitics applied to technology, or what the civcosm paradigm calls technopolitics. In our world today, the ancient and the algorithmic are converging, not diverging. And the civilizations that understand this are the ones that will shape what comes next. Look at how the most dynamically religious civilizations on Earth are approaching technology. The Islamic world, the Hindu world, the Shinto world, and yes, the Christian world. They're not rejecting technology. They're not intimidated by it. They're not waiting for secular experts to tell them what it means. They're adopting it aggressively. They're adopting it intentionally and directing it toward their own civilizational ends with a clarity of purpose that post-religious Western technocrats simply can't match. And when you have a theological vision of where history is going, when you believe that your civilization carries a divine mandate, you deploy technology differently than when you're simply trying to maximize shareholder value or win a quarterly earnings cycle. You are playing a longer game. You're building toward a different telos, and that purposefulness is an enormous competitive advantage in a world increasingly characterized by civilizational competition. That's the civcosm's second coordinate, technopolitics, the study of how technological development is increasingly shaped by the civilizational values of the people who built it, and how the competition for technological dominance in the 21st century is inseparable from the competition between sacred civilizational visions. Understanding this changes everything about how you read the AI race, the semiconductor war, the competition over 5G infrastructure, the battle over digital currencies, and the race to dominate space-based communication networks. None of it is neutral. All of it is theological. Every bit of it is civilizational. The people who understand that, who stop seeing technology as a secular force dissolving religion and start seeing it as a civilizational tool serving sacred belief, are the people who will understand what the next 50 years actually look like. That's what civcosm is built to show you. The question is never whether technology will suppress religion. The question is always, which religion does technology ultimately serve? That is what civcosm answers.
All right, great information there. And, with AI coming along as strong as it is, we need to be aware of what's going on, folks.
And
Let me click over here and show you that this is the video from Steve Turley that I shared with you. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Alrighty, let's jump back here and let's see what LFA TV, Happy Birthday America, loud majority. Okay, let's check this out. Nice little thumbnail there.
My entire life. And, we obviously we need to discuss it because everyone in the world is talking about it. But it is the 78 degrees 78 degrees. What am I talking about? Well, Zoltan Mamdani has instructed all New Yorkers to keep their air conditioning at 78 degrees over the course of the heat wave we're having. And we are absolutely having a heat wave. That I can tell you for sure. Check this out.
And to every business owner, please set your thermostats to 78 degrees to alleviate the stress on our power grid.
Absolutely wild. So Timu Jafar, as my friend April has accurately dubbed him, has told all of us that we need to keep our air conditioners close to 80 degrees to protect the electrical grid. Now, I live in a first world country. I didn't think I lived in Beirut or Bangladesh or some other third world crap hole out there. I thought that I lived in a place that, had nice things. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I don't live in a place that has nice things. But I can tell you one thing, Mr. Mamdani, Timu Jafar, I am not heeding your warning right now. My entire house is at a brisk 65 degrees. As it seems, everybody else and their mother is as well.
A bizarre hill to die on, Ben. I don't understand this.
Do you support it?
Ask Nikki Haley.
No, I'm asking you, like, do you think, like, when you saw that, you're like, hell yeah, let me walk over there and knock that number up to 78?
Let me ask you a question. Is Nikki really the Republic of South Carolina?
I'm not
state?
It's 78 there a lot. It's 78 there a lot. Ben,
don't you live in Texas?
I live in Texas. And
So
there's no way in hell we're putting it on 78 degrees.
That's why
Just
your
to be
grid
clear,
falls apart.
it's not 78 degrees in here right now either. No one's going to abide by this. Like, it's absurd.
But Ben, I'm just saying, this is a weird.
Yeah, obviously, the important people, like the idiots over on CNN, will not be abiding. Of course, CNN films in New York. Will not be abiding by the mayor's warning, saying that all businesses shall keep their thermostats at 78 degrees. Naturally, CNN doesn't have to do that. Also, there's a story out of the New York Post today that says that City Hall is currently at a brisk 62 degrees. Naturally, because, of course, it's not meant for the important people. It's meant for the peasants, which, of course, brings me to...
Okay, now, I'm a little confused here. When I heard this, I wanted to share because, I don't know, folks. I keep our thermostat at about 72 or 73 degrees. Now, my wife and we like to cover up at night, okay? So we turn it down a little bit to like 69, but 62 degrees or 65 degrees, give me a break. I would be chilly, okay? I'd be a little bit cold. Now, I mean, we keep it the same in the summer, and in the winter we keep it about 72, 73 degrees in the winter, and we kick it down to about 69 degrees at night in the winter. So I don't understand this, the 72 degrees. Now, I remember, oh shoot, this had to be like maybe 40 years ago, okay? Or longer, back in the 80s. I was working down in Florida, and I was working with car dealerships, and I was in a car dealership. Walked in from outside. Of course, it was probably 90 degrees outside, 95 degrees outside, and walked into the dealership, and it felt comfortable. And I happened to walk by the thermostat and take a look at it. It was set at 80. Okay, so I guess when it's 95 and you walk into a place where it's 80, 15 degrees difference, yeah, it feels comfortable. Now, I wouldn't have my house at 80 because I would be uncomfortable. But I don't know, 62 degrees or 65 degrees just seems to be a little bit low for me.
Brings me to, the wedding of the century. Let's be honest here, because, nothing else really matters. Nothing matters right now, except for the fact that a girl who has been singing the same song for the last 25 years is marrying a hillbilly at Madison Square Garden. Of course, I joke, I kid. I'm, of course, talking about the wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Now, there's almost nothing on this planet that I care about less than this wedding. However, my question is, I wonder what the carbon footprint would be to keep Madison Square Garden at a cool enough temperature to host a wedding. I wonder if they will be following the same 78-degree rule that Mayor Mamdani has suggested that everyone else in the country or everyone else in New York follow. Of course not. I'm being facetious. They don't have to live like you and I. Zorhan and his wife just get to throw breadcrumbs down at people who are sweating like slaves down at the bottom, while Taylor Swift and her 1,000-person wedding decides to go off without a hitch. So congratulations. I'm happy you guys are getting married. I'm very happy to never have to talk about the two of you ever again. But of course, MSNBC, they're on the case, everybody. They are on the case. And what do I mean by that? Well, when it comes to science, naturally, as a millennial, there's only one person we can look to for our serious science takes. I mean, look, come on. Who else are we going to ask? Who else are we going to consult with our very important science questions other than Bill Nye, the mechanical engineer?
Mayor Zoran Mamdani taking some heat right now from conservative figures and folks in the media after he posted an advisory online telling people to set their thermostats to 78 degrees. They're calling him a commie in some cases for saying that, even though the U.S. Department of Energy has the same guidance. Is the science on Mamdani's side here?
Well, of course. Sorry.
Just to be clear, he's not a scientist. He has a degree in mechanical engineering.
Of course, the science is on his side. Everybody, if you don't run the air conditioning systems as strongly, as powerfully, you will use less electricity. That's not rocket surgery. That's intuitive. Just how much can
Oh, that's not rocket surgery. Oh, what rocket surgery, you say?
Humans tolerate and still be productive? This is the question. And everybody, what I think is happening with these heat events is we're going to get used to them in the same way we used to be used to snow days, where people just stay home, just don't go. And some people venture out in the snow, but people become less productive, less business gets done, and so on. I think the same thing's going to happen with these events, but it is very, very serious because of public health and so on. And there's a problem we have now where we're using a tremendous amount of electricity to not only air condition our living spaces, but also to run these data centers. This is a serious biz.
I mean, it's difficult for me to even listen to him. Bill Nye, the mechanical engineer, because that's what he is. He's not a scientist. I mean, look, not that I would take MSNBC seriously when they say some of the things that they do, but if I was going to take them seriously, I'm pretty sure getting Bill Nye on your show is not exactly the best way to instill the seriousness of your cause. Now, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't mean to besmirch him in any way. That's not true. I absolutely want to besmirch him. But the guy that taught me how to make a volcano when I was 9 isn't exactly the person I'm going to listen to about, the grander scheme of things. But, as I said, Taylor Swift's wedding, I'm sure, will not fall under the regulations. And to be clear, he is correct. Trump's Department of Energy also said to keep your air conditioner at 78 degrees. I'm also not listening to them. I'm also not listening to that. That's just not going to happen. There ain't a snowball's chance in hell of my air conditioner going any bit above 65 for the next, 2 months. I'm just not going to do it because I don't live in France where people are quite literally sweating to death. Right now,
Okay, now, so for 2 months, he's going to keep it at 65. And then he's going to turn it up for the winter. So if he likes his house at 65 in the summer, why doesn't he like it at 65 in the winter? See, that's the goofy thing that I can't figure out. Okay, you got to keep it well below a comfortable temperature in the summertime, and then well above some of these people, well above a comfortable temperature in the wintertime. What does he turn it up to 85 or something in the wintertime? I don't understand.
Brigitte Macron is sweating her balls off right now because of the immense amount of heat going on in France. 1,400 people have died so far this summer because it's hot outside. So you know what? But climate change. Got to have climate change. Got to throw that one in there. Climate change. But let's move on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Now, this video will be in my daily news wrap-up if you want to watch more of it. Excuse me. Kevin Smith has a pretty good show on LFA, and I said, let me click on the Rumble link here. As I said, this will be in my daily news wrap-up. Okay, this is the video I shared with you from LFA TV. I've given them thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, let's jump back down over here and see what we have from on the Fringe. And Deb, you guys don't have an air conditioner? I hope you got at least a fan, because from what I understand in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, it's pretty warm right about now. Well, not now, but I mean today and tomorrow. Okay, on the Fringe, Dems hate this great country. Okay, he's got a couple of stories here at the beginning he's just going to start off with that are actually pretty good.
We are a nation born from fire, forged by a radical idea that shook the thrones of the old world. In the sweltering heat of Philadelphia, 1776, a band of rebels declared that liberty was not a privilege granted by kings, but a sacred right given by Almighty God. It was a promise written in ink, but bought with blood. They knew that a government's first and most solemn mandate is to secure those rights, to build a fortress around life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, so that ordinary men and women could live in peace. But freedom is never a static monument. It's a fragile flame, constantly battered by the winds of chaos, malice, and tyranny. For 250 years, American liberty has demanded a shield that never sleeps, a lineage of vigilance that stretches from the lonely, lantern-lit midnight riders of the Revolution to the quiet, modern-day sentries of the FBI. The battlefield shifted from the blood-soaked hills of Yorktown to the digital front lines of the modern world, but the sacred trust remains the same. True independence is not just the absence of a king, it's the presence of security. It's the quiet, unyielding peace of mind that allows a mother to watch her children chase sparklers in a dark backyard, or neighbors to gather in the town square without fear. It's a living shield of fidelity, bravery, and integrity, built to protect the sanctuary of your home. Behind the scenes, beneath the roar of celebration, thousands of silent guardians are standing watch over us all, holding the line so the music can keep playing. Because this is the land of the free, and the free deserve to live in peace. We've got the watch. God bless this great nation. Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day, everyone. 4th of July.
Inside the Vitality.
Okay, now this story here might just bring a tear to your eye. It did to me.
Senior Residences in Strongsville, Ohio. 95-year Frank Grassberger sits on a treasure. Literally sits. In fact, Frank says, other than his wife Dolores, almost nothing matters more to him than this note, which he carries everywhere.
I'd never be without it.
Why did it matter so much that you have it with you all the time?
Because it's something that somebody thought of me that much.
When he has that letter with him, he has a feeling of faith and trust and love.
To understand how a letter can do all that, you first need to know that Frank is a World War II veteran. And back in 2009, a third grader wrote to thank him for his service. If it wasn't for you, we would never have freedom. I'm so happy you made sacrifices. Your friend, Deshauna Priest. To Frank, that simple thank you came to symbolize a life well served.
I'm tickled to death that I have a letter like this.
He wanted to thank the author.
We never could find her. He says, before I close my eyes, I have to find her. I have to find her.
Just about everyone who works here was well aware of Frank's attachment to that letter and his decade-long desire to find the little girl who wrote it. So the staff did some sleuthing.